What's going on, everybody? This is an
What's
exciting
up?
day for me. We got to see Spider-Man last night. Thank you, Ace, for the tickets, by the way.
Hey, no problem.
Um, that's all we're going to talk about today. There are going to be spoilers. It's in the title. Spider-Man No Way Home review spoilers.
This
So,
is a spoiler discussion, 100%. So
yes,
get ready.
we're going to have some fun. What are your right off the top of your thought, what's your thoughts of Spider-Man No Way Home?
Wow. My thoughts are it met and exceeded my expectations. So I haven't been that pleasantly surprised or felt that giddy since the first Avengers and probably Infinity War. And
Mm.
then the cap scene and Endgame. Yeah. I mean, it was right there, man. It was so good.
We're going to get into more detail here pretty soon, but I want to say the one thing that I always told you about that I was most worried about is hearing all the stuff that they were going to have in this movie. I was so
Yeah.
worried it was going to be so jam-packed that they
Yep.
couldn't pull it off. And I'm telling you, they didn't just pull it off. They knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, I'm like you. I really was getting concerned, especially with all the rumors that you might hear, and like I don't know, are they really gonna pull this off? It could be a disaster, and nope. They
They pulled
th-
it off.
this is what we Cardinals fans would say. It's David Freese Game 6 of the World Series.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty
Yeah.
good one. Speaking of rumors, let's just ask this: what rumors ended up being wrong?
Ooh, the wrong rumors. Okay, now I guess we need to go through all these, but the one that really pops into my head that didn't pan out, spoilers again, everyone thought there's something up with Doctor Strange. That's not
Mm-hmm.
even Doctor Strange. No, it was Doctor Strange.
Yeah, 100%. And do you think they? I almost feel like they did that on purpose.
I think they probably knew what they were doing. I do.
And coming home, telling you when I was telling you, if you remember the first big trailer, Wong even said, "Do not do that spell."
Yeah.
He never said that in the movie.
No, he didn't. He didn't. So that was a misdirect. I'm getting flashbacks of Mephisto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other rumor, and you can go into more detail. What's up, Glitchy Gamer? You can go into more details than I can about this. But what did you think about? There was no Craven the Hunter. I mean, there was rumors that was a possibility, and it didn't happen.
Didn't happen, did it? Yeah, I mean, especially now that they have Aaron Taylor Johnson cast. The rumor was he might make an appearance, and we did not get the Sinister Six. We got five villains. So everyone was like, "Oh, he could be thrown in as the sixth," and that didn't happen. Did not happen.
By the way, I also think Sinister Six is not happening. At least not with these villains, obviously.
Well, yeah, we can get in that later, but no, I mean there's no Sinister Six at the end of this movie, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're gonna if they do it, and they probably want to, they've got to start from ground up, and maybe the Vulture could be a part of that. But
Yep.
yeah,
Anything
nope.
else off the top of your head? What else are you thinking
I
was a
just
rumor that didn't happen?
I another rumor that well, okay, um, we had a big cameo, and maybe we can get into that about what was true, but that particular cameo never suited up. That was another big rumor that he was gonna end up joining the fight or doing something in costume, and that didn't happen.
And
Didn't
see, the
happen.
rumor that I read about him was Daredevil, is who we're talking about.
Yeah,
It was to a T that he caught the brick and said, "Oh, I'm a good lawyer," and everything. I mean, it was to a T on that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, when we get into what's right, I mean, that stuff was dead on. So yeah,
So let's go ahead and go to what did they get right?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Really, a lot of the rumors did end up true.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, I mean, the elephant in the room, the worst kept secret in Hollywood. Duh. Andrew and Toby are in the movie. Hello. And and in a spectacular way, might I add. It was
I thought it was
great.
done really well. I'm a little confused by how it was done with Ned. And the only, if I'm going to nitpick at anything, it took Doctor Strange a long time to figure out a portal.
Right.
Ned is like, oh, what did I just do? And then all of a sudden he figures it out. So
He's
that's a
naturally gifted.
little, yeah, he knows magic.
Right. Yeah, he's a little budding Harry Potter.
But the interaction with Andrew and Toby, oh my God, it couldn't have, I don't think it could have been better.
No, I mean it was everything you would want as a Spider-Man or comic fan. So, I mean, I'm giddy over the movie and this guy's my number one. Spider-Man's probably, distant top 10 for me. But oh my gosh, I mean, it's so nostalgic. I mean, as a comic fan, you can't not at least like Spider-Man. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And so it just hit every note. I mean, everything they swung for, they connected with. When you're wanting them to connect 100%, and then they connect 110% with what they're doing. You're like, are they going to do it? Are they really going to do it? Yeah, they did it and exceeded it.
Yep. Now, Glitchy Boy Gamer has said this, and I agree. This was a rumor that they were talking about, and it happened. And I think they did it in a very, very good way. What did you think about Andrew saving MJ?
Oh, I loved that one. And that probably was one of the only things I had heard or got spoiled before I went to the movie that he was going to end up saving MJ and kind of redeeming himself for not having saved Gwen. And I thought it sounded like a great idea, and they executed it perfectly, in my opinion. I mean, it was it was an emotional scene, and they pulled it off. I thought.
This is another rumor that they got right, but it was awful on the trailer because you could see so easy with Lizard
Yeah,
right here.
I mean, come
Um,
on,
yeah, I mean
it
it was
was.
obvious. He was moving
Uh,
right there for sure. And it got it right, but it didn't make me mad. I
yeah.
mean, I thought it was done
Oh
well
no.
again. So,
Let's be honest. There's no one that's gonna edit that and release that accidentally. They knew exactly what they were
yeah.
doing. I was like, hey guys, we're telling you we're gonna lie to you, and we're gonna give you the evidence to clearly show you that it's happening.
Yep.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Anything else you liked that they got right on Big Rumors?
Oh my gosh, what was the another big rumor? I think those were the big ones that
Yep.
that they got right, and really everything that I thought sounded really exciting did happen. So,
Okay, now here's a big question for you. Which Spidey in the movie was your favorite?
ooh, well, it's a tricky question. I'd have to say that I've always liked Tom Holland as Spider-Man. There was parts of Homecoming that I felt like, oh gosh, he's so much Spider Kid that it's a little. He's definitely rises to the occasion in this movie and does. If you ever had an issue, he is Spider-Man at the end of this movie. So I'm thoroughly excited to see where he goes from now. But I have to say that, man, it's one of those guys that you didn't think would come through in the big Super Bowl game, ends up being the MVP. For me, Andrew Garfield was kind of an
Mm.
MVP of performance in this as Spider-Man,
Andrew
and I
Garfield
thought he's
sort of
great.
is like Sebastian Stan. in
Yeah,
Falcon and Winter Soldier and stuff like that.
yeah. He really brought his A game.
Now I'm gonna say we talk about this all the time with Superman, and I know you're a big Christopher Reeve fan, but you also now are leaning towards Henry Cavill is
Yeah,
Superman.
yeah.
I I, I think Sony and Marvel have hit a home run with Tom Holland.
Oh, they have. They've got the goods with him. Don't mistake what I just said for that. I loved Andrew Garfield, but Tom Holland is superb.
I think he's a
Absolutely.
fantastic actor. The scene with him and Aunt May, which I know we'll talk about later, I mean, there was genuine. You had the strings pulling big time with him
Oh
on
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. I mean, this was a real emotional movie on a lot of fronts. Almost happy emotional movie, and then very very sad, and they pulled it off effectively.
And from what
Endgame
we're,
style,
yeah,
endgame style feelings.
yep, I agree. And what we're hearing is Andrew's already signing for multiple more Spider-Man films, correct?
Oh, Tom? Yeah,
Or
yeah,
Tom, sorry.
yeah. He's they're playing coy in the press, but today Feige officially announced that, Spider-Man 4 is in development. Like, duh.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, by all intents and purposes, and most insiders are saying, reputable insiders, that he's signed up for another trilogy. And I think a part of the deal is another official MCU appearance, aside from
okay.
the three Spider-Man movies. So, yeah, he's locked in for a while.
I mean, and to me, hats off to the MCU and Sony because
Yeah.
they got the right guy without a doubt. And
Oh, they
man, if you
do.
can,
Yeah.
in fact, I was when I was leaving and we were riding, I just kept thinking, Spider-Man's so big, and with how this ended, I don't know if he needs to even be an Avenger. Like just almost like it is really in the comics. I think if he wasn't an Avenger, the Spideyverse would be just as big, if not bigger, than what the Avengers would be.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, back in the early 2000s, in Brian Michael Bendis's New Avengers, he officially made Spider-Man a member, and with Wolverine. So because those guys had never been Avengers, it was just like they didn't do it. Spider-Man had flirted with joining the Avengers, had helped him on a lot of occasions, but was never a member. And then he became a member, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Spider-Man's he's a solo hero. He helps out the Fantastic Four all the time.
Yeah.
He's buddies with Doctor Strange and Daredevil, and the event. He's just that guy that's always around, but he's never a member. He's a solo guy, and really it's because, like Batman, he has such a large uh, community of heroes that are in his universe and villains that
Mhm.
it's you can, like, DC has basically Batman as their whole universe is Batman, and then the rest of the DC universe, and Marvel is like Spider-Man and the rest of the Marvel universe. I mean, because
Yep.
their collective franchises are so big.
Do
I
you
agree.
think it hurts future Avengers without Spider-Man?
That's the only thing that could trip it up. Coach, I agree with you totally. I don't really even want him in the Avengers, but I feel like the studio is going to look at it and say, we don't have Cap, Iron Man, Black Panther, and probably Thor.
Yeah.
We have, we got the B team. We got to have a couple A-listers on there. We're going to have to pull Spidey in. Maybe.
Hmm.
We all love Shang-Chi. He ain't no Spider-Man, though. Not yet.
No, he's not.
So,
I don't know if he will be there. Well,
no, I
this will
mean,
segue perfectly to who was your favorite villain of the movie?
ooh, favorite villain hands down. I mean, Willem Dafoe just is he was born to play the Goblin, man. He gave such a stellar performance. Oh, he's good. You
He
love
is.
to hate him, and then when he's not the Goblin, you feel really sorry for him. So He's my number one. He's my favorite. Although, you tell me what you think too. I don't think there was a villain that I thought sucked in it.
I
I thought
am
they were all good.
I told you I thought actually the villains were almost better in this movie than what they were in their own.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If I could say who was most improved, hands down, hands down, Electro.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
he was hands
They let
down.
Jamie Foxx be Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, he did a good job of playing the kind of, Max Dillon is just your common criminal. He's not a super scientist. Uh, he's not a geeky nerd either. I mean, he was Max Dillon and did great. I mean, easily the most improved villain of this five.
Now I'm gonna say this. My favorite one was actually Thomas Hayden Church,
Oh
Sandman,
yeah.
and the reason is because they remember that he and Spider-Man, made up with each other basically at the end of their movie. And they let that continue to where he had a little trust with them, but then it went the other way for a little bit.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that instead of just arbitrarily making him bad. He was never bad. He was always, hey, I'm a guy that wants to get back home to his daughter, just like
Yep.
Spider-Man 3. I'm not really a villain. I've just screwed up and became this sand creature. And then, he ends up kind of on the other side of things because no one's going to send him home and he's mad about it. So, yeah, I thought they did a great job with that. Thomas Hayden Church did a phenomenal job about or playing Sandman in Spider-Man 3, which is, a lot of people's not so favorite Spider-Man movie.
So what'd you think about Doc Ock?
Oh, he was great, wasn't he? He does such a good job. Again, like you just said, they continued his story perfectly from
Yep,
Spider-Man 2.
I agree.
Out of all the original villains, he was the most good in the beginning who became bad. I mean, a lot of the
Right.
guys weren't bad, like Harry or Norman Osborn wasn't evil, or Max Dillon. None of them were evil, but Otto in Spider-Man 2 was really, really a good guy, and then he got turned with an accident into Doc Ock, and they continued that here.
Did you like how when they were almost in that spot right there and Peter, it made it almost like a phone was pairing with the Bluetooth device where he
Uh,
took over the whatever you want to call his arms, and I thought that was hilarious how they did that.
I thought that was really good, and I don't know that they meant to do this or whatever, but it felt like they pulled, Doc Ock from 2004, which is when Spider-Man 2 came out. Like, that technology wasn't even thought of then, and he was like, "What is?" I mean, he said he knew nanotechnology, but it still felt like he had no way to deal with it. Just like it was so advanced, he was even outclassed.
Yes,
So I thought that was really clever.
it was funny as heck, and Tom Holland's just laughing the whole time. I'm moving your arm and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I didn't see that coming. That was really great,
It
super
was
great.
really good. Before we really get into the movie, though, there's going to be something we got to bring up that if anybody was going to nitpick at anything, it would be
Mm.
this part of the movie. So, what did you think about Aunt May actually saying the famous phrase?
Okay, my thought on that was if I had known about that going in or read about it, I think I would have been a little pissed. Like, oh, of course they're doing this. Of course they're changing it and making Aunt May say this, blah, 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 blah. But I did know it. And when she uttered it and how it was done in the movie, I thought it was very well done.
Yep,
And
I
I
agree.
was not upset in the slightest.
I wasn't either. And somebody said, which we've never ever ever been introduced to, Uncle Ben,
Yeah,
and in this Tom Holland version of Spider-Man in the MCU. I'm not upset about this. I thought it was done tasteful. I thought it was done in a good way.
yeah.
I can live with it.
I can live with it too because, I mean, guys, or everyone, it's like, hey, we've had Uncle Ben twice, not once, but twice. And really, both Uncle Bens were stellar. I mean, I think I'm partial to the original, but Martin Sheen gave a really great spin
Yeah.
on Uncle Ben. And did we really want to see that done a third time? Did we really? I don't think we did. And this way, we have finally that phrase. This is a part of the MCU Spider-Man now. Yeah, it's a little different, but it was so effectively done that I don't know how we can be mad about it because we
Yep.
have that twice with Uncle Ben.
It also gave a perfect segue to Tobey Maguire getting introduced to Tom Holland for the first time, where he was saying it and Toby finished it, and it was like, wait,
Yeah,
what? So,
yeah,
I mean, if
that was genius.
yeah, I thought that was done so well, so tasteful. I'm not mad with it at all. I mean, honestly,
No, no. I mean, the fact that they wrote all this and were able to effectively pull the greatest aspects of each of the Spider Men actors and, pulling key elements and even phrases from the original movies. Um, I just think, like again, they hit all the right notes. It's
yep.
one of those things that just came together so wonderfully, and they, again, grand slam. So
What did you think about when Spider-Man basically outsmarted using math Doctor Strange?
see now that is so great, and as a Spider-Man fan, you have to be so excited over that because you know, and we can probably get more into this later with a few points, but some of the criticism for the first two Spider-Man movies and maybe even Civil War, he's Iron or Spider Lad or he's Iron Man Junior.
Yep.
And everyone's like, we want to see Peter. He's a genius. We want to see him make his own stuff, be smart. And it was like, hey, this you're seeing this. He outwitted and outsmarted Doctor Strange,
Yep.
and you can tell like, oh, he was taken back. Like he just got outwitted. I mean, it wasn't by chance either. He outsmarted him.
Yeah.
Tony Stark level intelligence.
And that's what I think I liked about the most about this movie is that Tom Holland Spider-Man grew up and
Yeah, he
he
really did.
wasn't the silly little kid anymore. He showed
Yeah,
you he was smart. Even um Green Goblin was saying, if you ever need to work, come hit me
yeah,
up. I'll hire you.
yeah. Exactly. Like that's what we want. That's what we've been wanting to see.
Yep.
Uh, Finally, Peter come into his own without the relying on Stark technology or somebody else. He's doing this. He's coming
Now,
up with this.
MJ just said something in our chat, and I agree with this, and I hope this actually happens. And the rumor is that it could. So when we see Andrew and Toby next time, it's got to be in Secret Wars. It's more towards Secret Wars, correct?
Yeah, I don't think Secret Invasion is on the table. Secret Wars definitely is. We've heard one and or both are gonna be in Secret Wars. Makes total sense that they would be. Uh, we got to just figure though how long is it gonna be till that movie happens? Are those two of them gonna want to do that? I don't know, but if they can lock them in for something, that's where we will see them.
The Secret War rumor that I'm hearing is that both of them want to work together. They're good with doing that. And the other one is Secret War is actually going to be done in 3 parts.
Well, I've heard that too, and I'll add a little rumor, and we'll give credit where it's due to Geekosity that Secret Wars is going to play in a movie just like comics do, where you have a big event comic that comes out, and you read the main comic, but then there's a lot of spin-offs from the main event, and you can choose to read them or not. But they're a tangent of a storyline from the main story, and they're rumored that there's going to be Secret War Disney Plus shows or even a movie that are tangential to the main Secret Wars movie leading up to it.
Wow. Okay.
So I haven't heard this rumor, but let's just use it as a theory. You might have a Tom Holland, or excuse me, a Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man Secret Wars movie where they're doing whatever they are in that movie, and then they come back for the main one, but you get a whole movie with their little side adventure. So, or a Disney Plus show, one of the two.
Okay. Um, Next thing I want to ask you about, and I think we're okay. Well, what did you think? We can say this. What did you think of
Yeah.
this ending right there?
Oh man, it's so great. When they all hugged at the end, you're like, that is so cool.
And I was
It's just
shocked to
really
find
great.
this photo, honestly.
I can't believe you found it. Yeah, I'm sure it's taken down already, but yeah, so good, man.
It was
Just
good.
yeah,
And it wasn't corny. I mean, it felt like they were all, you could tell right away there was a bond with all of them.
yeah,
When Tobey Maguire stopped Tom Holland from killing the Green Goblin, that was a huge moment.
yeah.
It was just great. Now, I am still scratching my head about when Green Goblin stabbed Tobey Maguire. I
Oh
thought he was dead.
yeah,
And the
that
rumor
was
was that he was supposed to die in this.
yeah, yeah. I'm glad they didn't do that though. I think it would have added too much. I think what they were going for there initially was like the Han Solo death in Force Awakens, and really everyone in hindsight has said that was a real missed opportunity. You never got the three actors
Yeah.
together. You killed the opportunity for that to even happen. And
Yep.
then of course Carrie Fisher, but so I think they were like, why kill Toby here? Well, there could be some real great opportunities down the road. Maybe, and if there isn't, then no harm. He was
Exactly.
there. He went back to his world. Everything's fine. Just why kill him? It it would
the
seem
rumor
unnecessary.
the rumor was that he was going to give the Uncle Ben moment to Tom Holland.
Yeah, now that you say that, I did hear that that he was going to utter the whole thing instead of what we got was he
Yeah.
finished it or did it with Tom Holland. So, but I gotta say, like I mean, I guess it would have been emotional to have him die, and it was shocking. I was like, oh crap, with our buddy there, I turned over to him. I was like, ooh, I did not see that coming. And
Before we get to the post-credit scenes too, I got to say something. Cuz
yes,
I turned to you and I probably said it too loud. Marvel gave a big FU to DC in this movie.
boy,
And,
didn't they?
and if for those that haven't watched it, Flash Thompson is getting famous and he ended up writing a book and he holds up the book and it says Flashpoint. And man, if
Yeah,
that isn't a big FU, haha, DC, we beat you again. We beat your own title.
yeah.
I
I mean,
because
Feige's got spies, man. I don't
yeah,
know how else to say it. He's got spies because, and then DC's inept and can't get their crap together. And look, I love DC, but Warner Brothers is a bit of a mess, and they can't get it. They're they don't have a vision or a plan, so it takes them twice as long to do things. And Marvel's like, we got this. Oh,
yep.
you're gonna do a multiverse movie? We'll get it done in a year. It'll take you two. So
Now let's get to the post-credit scene. First one is Doctor Strange 2's basically trailer. What did you think of it?
yeah, it was a good setup. Didn't show much. I want to watch it again. Um, I thought it was really there was a old uh, eyeball villain Shuma Garath
Yep.
that they showed, and I thought that was really cool. So, and then seeing the evil Doctor Strange from What If was pretty exciting.
I don't know honestly how I feel about that yet.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
honestly,
yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for What If to be opened up into the MCU and I'll be, involved in it.
Well, get ready because That, I mean, rumor territory is definitely live action. Captain Carter makes her appearance,
Mm.
and 100% Uatu, the Watcher, makes his debut live action. And I don't know if any of the other ones from the What If will appear, but those are supposed to. So we'll
N-
see what happens.
What'd you think about the Venom part?
Now I gotta admit, I liked it. I mean, and I knew I did know that was gonna happen. All I knew was Venom was gonna appear, or well, it wasn't really Venom, but Tom Hardy. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't want to know. I just knew he was gonna be there. That's probably the one I have the most questions
Yes.
about. I
Yes.
am a bit confused on that. So i- i- during the scene, he's there. So what we gather is at the end of Venom, when the villains were sucked in to the MCU, Tom Hardy was pulled in at the same time.
Yep.
And then when they all got sent back, he got sent back too, but he left behind some of
Symbiote.
Venom.
Yep.
So what is that? What's gonna happen here?
I don't know. And what the only thing that would be a little bit upset about, if you really tease that Tom Hardy and could be in the MCU now, and that is all we are going to get. I mean that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I
So I think there's got to be more.
I mean, my only thought is like, oh hey, there's a symbiote. I don't really see this MCU version of Flash Thompson becoming Agent Venom.
Right.
Uh, if he was more like the classic Flash, then we could say, oh hey,
That could
especially
happen.
like the Flash from the Garfield movies would have been the perfect Agent Venom. You could have said,
Yes.
oh hey, MCU is gonna have Agent Venom, and Venom will be over in the Sony verse. But you're right. Do we really not want to see Tom Hardy and Tom Holland in a movie together? No, so that's gonna happen, but I am a little clueless as to how they're gonna do that now.
I
I mean,
agree.
I don't know I don't know what they got I don't know what they've got planned because I'm not seeing the connection unless somehow it's Secret Wars, but that's so far away. I don't They're not gonna want to wait that long.
I'm gonna tell you this. Um, well, give me a second. I need to take a 30-second break, and then we'll get into that a little bit more. But then we're gonna rank the rest of the stuff, if that's
Let's do
okay.
it. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
All right. I'm back.
Yeah, we're back.
I
We
want to
are back.
say I don't. Only thing I'm going to say about the post credit scene at the end is I enjoy like the post credit scene that we got with Tom Hardy as Venom, but I don't know if I like trailers, if that makes any sense.
No, I mean, it was cool to see the trailer for Doctor Strange, don't get me wrong. But just like at the end of Captain America: The First Avenger, when the end credit scene was just the first trailer for the Avengers, it seems kind of like meh. I mean that doesn't add anything to this movie. It's just a trailer, so
Right.
exciting and disappointing at the same time.
I agree. All right. Are you ready to have some fun on something?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
I want to. I mean, we just saw one of the greatest MCU movies. Well, let's say that. Where do you rank this right now? Rough. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you leaving and thinking about it today, where do you rank it?
And the MCU?
Yes,
Okay, so just MCU,
just
not all
MCU.
times. All right. Well, easily top 5.
Okay.
So without really thinking it through, top 5 for sure.
I
I
I,
mean,
I can live with that.
it's. I mean, my top MCU movies are The Winter Soldier, Infinity War, the first Avengers, and this and No Way Home, and maybe another one that I'm not recalling off the
Civil
top of
War's
my
up
head.
there for me too.
Civil War's really up there, but I'd say it's probably okay. I'm gonna say top 4. Those are my top 4 movies. I'm not sure the order, but yeah.
Okay, I can live with that. Now we're gonna segue into something fun.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
We are going to rank every Spider-Man movie, and this is including No Way Home.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do it.
So I don't know if what order do you want to go in an order? Do you want to start at 9? Do you want to start in chronological order? I know we always say this, but I'm
Yeah,
good
yeah.
with whatever you want. We
Let's
are
go.
including Into the Spideyverse, just so you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Oh, I think we go 9 to 1. Let's go to the bottom to the top.
Okay. So what is yours in number 9?
All right. So this was probably my hardest one to pick. Because there's two that kind of are equal for me. Uh, and it's really tough for me to decide. But ultimately, I went with The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as last.
Okay. And I can see that. I don't feel that they did a really good job with that movie. I feel it was a little just weird, and it could have been good.
Yeah, yeah, they were
I
trying to
was
set up all kinds of stuff and just shoehorned in too much garbage.
Yep. I was in
Uh,
between that one and honestly Into the Spider-Verse.
oh yeah, so we're gonna differ on that. Yeah,
I like Into the Spider-Verse, but I always have a hard time putting an animated movie over at least average movies. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. I get you. And a lot of people will get really mad at us if we have it that low, because for some Spider-Man fans, it's the greatest one. But you're right. I always have a trouble with animated over the live action, but I probably will have to differ on this one. But we can come to terms.
No,
Uh,
I'm good with 9 being The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
yeah, because my other I'll just say what my next one was, and then we can decide if it's mine or Spider-Verse.
Okay.
But for me, Spider-Man 3 is about equal to Amazing Spider-Man 2, because both of these movies have some amazing stuff in them.
So you're saying
And
with the Venom part.
yeah, okay, so here's what didn't work in both of those movies. Amazing Spider-Man 2, the second Green Goblin was a disaster.
Horrible.
Rhino was a weird joke. And Electro ended up being not, while visually cool, I didn't work either.
I agree.
Spider-Man 3 Venom did not work.
Nope.
Period. However, here's what did work for those movies. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man action, the action scenes with him doing Spider-Man stuff, was some of the best Spider-Man action I've seen. It's just unfortunately those things are in a really bad movie. And Spider-Man 3, Sandman, amazing villain.
Yes,
They should never have had anyone other than Sandman in it.
I agree.
And I think some of the conflict with Peter is dark side. Some people laugh about it because it did get a little hokey, but the premise of it was sound, and some of the action was stellar in that one too. So To me, those are both like subpar movies, but with some really great stuff in both of them.
I can live with that. I can live with that at 8, like 100%.
All right, all right. So then
Now, I will argue a lot though now because I have to put Into the Spider Verse at 7.
it kind of pains me to do that, but I will allow it.
Okay,
I
where would
mean,
you put it? What would you put here if you were going to put something there?
oh man, it is animated, and some of the animation style is a little quirky and weird.
Yeah.
But doggone, that was a really good Spider-Man movie. Um, I love that movie though, but I'm okay with putting it here.
Okay. So what
So,
are you going with 6?
well, I gotta just be honest.
Wait, before you do, I'm going to move all of these up to 6, and so we can
Okay,
get them
let's do it.
to where we can move up. Okay.
For me, this is for me. You tell me what you think, Coach. Amazing Spider-Man is here.
I think it has to be.
Yeah,
I
I do too.
really do.
Yeah.
I was going back and forth between The Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man Homecoming,
Wow,
but
great.
I enjoyed Homecoming more. I mean, I really did.
Yeah. Yeah. I yeah, it's Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, again, I really liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, but his costume was terrible in that first one. Ugh.
Yeah.
And some of it just didn't work right. And look, like we said earlier, Uncle Ben was really cool, and Sally Field as Aunt May was great casting. But it all seemed like, why are we having to go through this origin again? I mean, and
Right.
they
We
went
just
deep.
yeah.
Yeah, they went deep into the origin. Like, we've already seen this movie,
Yeah.
so it was unnecessary, and I think it hurt the movie overall.
And that is where the MCU version of Spider-Man has gotten it so right.
Right? Yeah. Correct. Correct.
So, all right,
Now,
number 5.
this one was tough for me, and I'm just gonna
This
tell
is
you
where
that.
it's getting hard.
Yeah, for me, it's a toss up between Homecoming and Far From Home, and for me, I would have, I used to would have put Homecoming here, and I remember really liking Far From Home when I saw it. However, upon rewatches of Homecoming, I've liked it more, and
Okay.
rewatches of Far From Home, I've liked it less. Far From Home seems to have gotten really cheesy and hokey. The stuff that I didn't catch the first time, or maybe I was just in a good mood and I really laughed a lot, and it just doesn't hold up as good for me. Um,
I I can see that point where if you're really going to sit there and watch something, which one of those are you going to watch
uh,
over? But
yeah,
at
and
the
I
same
think,
time, I personally like Mysterio a little better than Vulture.
yeah,
I
Mysterio was good.
I got sort of tired of the baby, how Iron Man treated him like a baby
Don't like that.
in
Yeah.
Homecoming.
All right,
But
I agree.
so
I
we're
agree.
going Homecoming.
I think we go Homecoming here. Let's do it.
Well, then I think we know what number 4 will be.
Yeah, it's got to be Far From Home. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
I do like your point about I really like Michael Keaton, and I thought he was awesome as the Vulture, and I loved the crew with the Tinkerer, and then we got kind of a version of the Shocker.
Yeah.
So I thought all that was amazing. And but you're right. I that part of it doesn't age well for me in regards to kind of getting spanked by uh, Iron Man. It's like, oh man, seriously, come on.
Not just once, twice.
Yeah, it's like I don't know about this. That's the part that doesn't feel like Spider-Man at all.
Yeah. And that's where I am with that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna.
Ooh, this is gonna be. I know where it is for me.
I know where the one I know the most is number 1.
Yeah, we're probably going to differ on number one.
Uh-oh.
Actually, we might differ on all three because this might be a curveball for you. I don't know. Number
Okay.
three, number three for
Let me
me.
say my number 3
Okay, go ahead.
because I think you're gonna think I'm thinking a whole different way.
All right.
My number 3 is gonna be the first original Spider-Man.
Oh, we agree 100%.
Okay.
I mean, that was a
I liked
phenomenal
it,
movie.
but
Yeah.
man, the second one was I loved it.
And this is probably where we're going to differ then because well, I mean, the first Spider-Man was so amazing. It was great. But there were still a few things that didn't quite work for me. I mean, when you rewatch the movie, there's some things that feel a little off. The story could be a little tightened up.
Yeah.
Some of the scenes were a little unnecessary. I mean, Mary Jane was constantly screaming. It got a little annoying. But that doesn't take away from the greatness of the movie, though.
Okay. My
Well,
number 2
yeah,
is Spider-Man number 2.
yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
Eh,
See, for
we're gonna be able to debate this, and it's deserving of a debate.
well, let's just talk about the greatness of Spider-Man 2 for a second.
Okay.
Um, as you know, and I've already stated earlier tonight, Spider-Man is not one of my top heroes. Although I love him, I got several that I just really love more. However, having said that, Spider-Man 2 has been and will remain one of the greatest superhero movies ever. I thought Spider-Man 2. I walked out of that thinking that was so amazing. The
Yeah.
the fight scene with Doctor Octopus on the train still holds up. It's long, it's phenomenal, and it's so emotional when Peter saves all those people on that train like he does.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like,
And they help him down and everything.
oh my gosh, I still get kind of goosebumps even every time we watch it. I just think it's amazing.
Yep.
Um, and then the other scene that really did it for me was when he saves MJ at the end, and she sees him without his mask, and he's like, she's like, "Oh, you can like me because I'm Spider-Man." And he's like, "Yep." And she's like, "You really do love me?" "Yep." He's like, "This is really heavy." I mean,
That's
that whole
yeah.
scene is just phenomenal. I love Spider-Man 2, and I think Doc Ock was a great villain, and the
He
whole thing
was.
is this really great movie. So, oh man, this one's tough.
Okay.
This one's tough.
So with No Way Home, here's the direction I go.
Sure.
Doc Ock was just as good in No Way Home as what he was in Spider-Man 2. He didn't get to do as much, but in
No,
my
he
opinion,
didn't,
he was
but
just as good.
he was great. He was
Then you
great.
jump in, Green Goblin was, in my opinion, just as good. But
Yeah.
what I liked about Green Goblin more in No Way Home is they finally got the costume better. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I
still not.
hated the regular Spider-Man
I
costume.
know. I mean, I'm a little purist, so I was like, at least give him a mask. It still wasn't great, but that Power Ranger mask had to go. Yes,
Yes.
totally.
I On Homecoming and Far From Home, I was up in the air as Zendaya as MJ. In No Way Home, she hit it out of the park, in my opinion.
She was so good in this movie. Yeah.
Yes.
She was just okay in the other two. It wasn't terrible, but it's like, well, her name was MJ, but she's not MJ. She's a different character with the same name.
And where
And in this movie though, I didn't really care because she was so great in it.
yeah.
She did a great job.
And where No Way Home beats, in my opinion, Spider-Man 2 is at the end, we are getting what Spider-Man is supposed to be all about from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The way they set it up, where he's basically lost everything, and he still kind of got a smile on his face because I think he realizes like I've got the goods. I'm smart enough. This is gonna be rough, but I'm on my own now, and I can do this. And so it's not going to be easy. He's lost everything, but he knows he can do it. And he's going to go be Spider-Man. He's a little freer because, Ned and MJ are happy, they're safe.
And he can see they're going to be
And he's
successful.
like, they're going to be successful. And it's like, they're not going to have to worry about I'm not going to have to worry about them being in danger. I can go do what I've got to do. So that was great. Another great.
You are the trump card. So it is your choice on which one.
Oh man. Oh man. Well,
Can't be 1A and 1B either.
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna I'm gonna give it to No Way Home for number one, but with an asterisk that in a year's time I have the right of refusal, and to
Okay.
say that if if after rewatching this movie and in a year and it's settled in and you get a really good feel for it and you watch it at home when there's not this huge crowd screaming, does it still hold up?
Yeah.
Then I'll say yeah, it's still number one. But I reserve the right to
I
still
can
say Spider-Man 2 is number one.
I can
But
respect that. And if you wanted to even say that Spider-Man 2 should be number 1 because of all after all these years it still holds up and you got to find out about No Way Home, I would respect that too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's just go with this for now because I mean I'm inclined to say No Way Home is going to hold up.
Yeah.
I felt like it, like the first Avengers, Infinity War, Winter Soldier. You walked out of it, you thought about it, you kind of thought about it the next day and how great it was. And usually that level of greatness usually is it stays with you and it stays a good movie.
Okay. That's it then.
All
No turning
right.
back until a year from now.
Let us know what you guys think. I think we're going to get shredded by Spider-Man fans over into the universe or into the Spider-Verse. But other than that, I totally agree with this. I like this list.
All right. That is going to be it for us too. I enjoyed it. It was
All right,
great.
guys.
See
See
ya.
ya.